probably in a state of mind where I need to hear kind of what's going on up in my brain. And a good way for me to do that is to make myself accountable and to do something like this. Haven't done one of these in a couple days, I think. I have a lot of thoughts on my mind. There's a lot of things that I was hoping would happen today that didn't really happen today. I also took a long nap and I kind of saw my ADHD brain at work. I saw this one YouTube video about physical media versus digital media, and I've usually been somebody that has a little bit of a mix of both. But lately, I've been seeing physical media, especially with like DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that, can save a lot of time and also prevent you from distracted. I know there's been times where I've gone on to YouTube, especially, that's probably the biggest one, or a streaming service, and I get kind of paralyzed of all the options. And yeah, the watch was pretty clear. It was like, a lot of the videos you're just gonna watch. I mean, a lot of them you're just kind of looking for a specific movie. Like for me, with Disney Plus, there's probably 20 movies that'd be like my main go-tos. Like Escape to Witch Mountain would be one of them, and then there's some other ones: Toy Story 3, Toy Story 3, 2, and 1. I don't really hate the fourth one; it's not my favorite. And yeah, you could get those on DVD, and then you have that freedom of this isn't going anywhere. You can just kind of do that. What ended up happening though was I basically got on Amazon and I just like found all these different movies that I could buy in the future. And it's interesting because I don't have a DVD player here. I don't have a TV here either. All I have right now is my Chromebook and my phone. And so I have the odds against me as far as being able to watch anything like with a physical version. There's some movies that my parents have bought on Amazon. So I watched Monster University last week. So that was super good. I enjoyed that a lot. I realized my ADHD that a lot of the beauty of it is spending more time with things that give me like that comfort zone feeling. So a lot of this comes back to watching shows that I saw as a kid. And so I spent some time, waste time, like combing through all these different things, like, oh yeah, that show would be great, and that show would be great too. And it's really powerful when you're able to live life by design. I think that's what ADHD makes you do, because this world was not built for people that have ADHD and other neurodivergent stuff. It just wasn't. Like sitting in a chair for like 5, 6 hours a day in like high school or whatever, like that was not good. Maddie, hello. I hope you are well. Do you have ADHD? I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, it's just interesting how there's the opportunity to grow, and it's so much better if you like design it. Super Mario is a great example of this. You have like Super Mario World, all these different shows and or games and stuff, and they have like the world map, and you know where you're going. You beat a level, you get stuff, you hit an item. Life isn't like that. Life isn't like that. Life is like Mario. You'll hit a item box, and it has like the item, right? And then the item will come out. In life, you might hit a million, like not a million, but you might hit a bunch of those, and none of them will give you anything useful. You'll be like, okay, these are all like complete waste of time. By Bielka, I'm sorry I pronounced your name wrong. Hello from Russia. I don't think that's somebody from Russia before. Do you have ADHD? That's mainly what I'm talking about. It's beautiful when you have a day where your ADHD comes in super clutch. I've had days like this. When I was back in high school, I did track, and having the track, like my brain and body got so used to running, and I still run a lot, but I got so used to running, it became this thing that like anchored me through the rest of the time in between. And I put in a lot of work, got my running time down a lot, and walking around and running and stuff is still stuff I do. I did a little walk this morning at like 5 or 6 a.m. and that was really good for me. It was super good for me. I was diagnosed with ADHD at 20. I went on a 2-year mission trip for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and while I was on that trip, there was a point where I was in this town that had a lot of snow in it, and it was super cold, and at one point, we had this snowstorm come through, and we weren't allowed to go outside for a couple days. So first day, I was pretty okay, and I just did a ton of reading because we weren't allowed to go outside. Maddie of ADHD, yeah, I feel you on the ADHD. It's so interesting too because it's a spectrum. Yeah, so after that, and then after that first day, the next day I was losing my brain, losing my mind because I was stuck in this like relatively small apartment and I wasn't allowed outside, wasn't able to do anything else. And I hadn't done anything wrong. I hadn't made any wrong choices. There's literally no ability to. We had a flip phone. Well, it was basically a flip phone. It didn't have internet or anything like that. I had no computer or anything like that. No video games, nothing. It was just my brain like was losing something. Like it didn't have something that it needed, which was, I think a lot of it is like that stimulation, like and always seeking for novelty. That's really what I found with the ADHD, which is nice because God gave me a lot of ways I express that. So I can entertain people, I can juggle. I'm pretty decent at video games. I like basketball, I'm decent at basketball. I have many talents that God has given me to distract myself from different pains that I might be going through. And this is very useful when having a particularly rough day, or I'm seeking for relief of some kind, or I'm wanting to be encouraged or whatever, it really helps. I mean, I think it was like maybe a week ago. I bought Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon on the 3DS from a guy chilling. It was great. It was great. Walk the Light said I have it too. It's an interesting thing how it completely changes how your life works. So one of the ways that this really benefits, I write. And so when I write, I am able to get in a pretty flow-like state. And with ADHD, like there's the flow state, but then there's like the ADHD flow state, which is like you're like gone. You're so completely gone. You're so lost in the moment. And it's like the most beautiful thing ever when you're able to be so completely lost in that task. Akbar, hello. Hope you are well. Do you have ADHD? That's kind of what we're talking about. And if you guys have any thoughts on ADHD, I'd love to hear. I really have learned so much about living a life by design. You just kind of have to do it with ADHD. You don't have any other choice. Maddie, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's humbling. I just kind of reached this point where like today where I was like, okay, I've spent way too much time like after I added all these TV shows I could buy in the future, I was like, wow, there goes the dopamine. It's gone. And it's like, you gotta really be super intentional about it. I really think with ADHD, it makes you think about being a 10-year-old. Like, being like, okay, you can play your video games if you get all these things done. And when you make it like super clear, then that you're going to be able to do that thing that your brain wants to do. And you'll also be able to do that thing that will allow you to function as a normal member of society. So that's awesome. And that's really good. It really blows me away too how God's plan just worked out in my life, because if I'd been diagnosed when I was younger, there's no way I would have turned out how I did. I think I would have gone to a bunch of meds and things would not have gone as they did. Instead, right when I got to really a stressful part of high school, which was sophomore year, didn't make the basketball team. There was a lot of some self-esteem issues with that and everything else, and just not feeling like I fit in, right? That was a real thing. I still have some memories of feeling kind of just excluded, even though I was all right at basketball, you know. I think sometimes I just let how other people saw me, or how I thought other people saw me, to dictate more or less how I worked That's way dangerous because how you see yourself is going to influence how you work, and that's just facts. If you see yourself as being stuck in some way or not going to become something or whatever, like it's going to influence what you're able to do, what you on, how you think about yourself, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, after I didn't make the basketball team, I was the manager, so I'd run to all these different errands for the coach. And I remember coming back one time and he's like, "Yeah, you should do track. You're really fast." And I wasn't like super fast, but I was like, "All right." So then I did track. And then that's when I saw my grades go way up, my focus go way up, my stress levels go way down, and I had a real purpose. And it was to get that stinking mile time down as low as I could get it. And it was sort of like in Mario Kart when you have the tiles and I think the very first time playing Super Mario Kart with the time trials and playing, I think somebody else had already, like, I was probably like 6 or 7, maybe. I really had a super blessed childhood. Now I'm being mindful of the childhood I'll be able to provide for future kids. A lot of it is dictated by what I choose now, what I don't choose now, my ability to be patient in difficult circumstances, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ability to say no to temptation is another big one. But yeah, I remember playing that time trial and getting started. And there's this other character, there's the ghost character playing against me. And I remember in that moment just kind of what in the world is going on? How's this person like battling me or like racing it? I thought like the game was glitched or something like that. So yeah, that's a fun little memory. So it's beautiful to have those things where you can beat your best. And this is the concept of gamification. This was pretty popular probably like 5 or 6 years ago. It's kind of made a bit of a comeback. And you just see it in like everything these days. And it's super susceptible for ADHD people. Like different stuff will be, oh yeah, if you get on one more time, then you can get this. And it makes you want to play the game or whatever it is more. And it's really, I went to school for marketing, graduated in marketing from BYU, Idaho. There's a lot of different apps and things like that I would study. And it can definitely be exploited. You can exploit it. It's just like in I mean, Incredibles is what comes to mind. You got the Omni Droid, right? The only thing that's able to destroy the Omni Droid is itself. Mr. Incredible like tries punching it. He literally punches it into the lava, and that thing literally doesn't die. It just becomes the lava Omni Droid, and that's sort of like you. You're unstoppable. Yay! Little lighthearted moment. You can do it. You can get punched in the lava, and actually, I probably wouldn't get punched in the lava. I don't think. I think you'd probably be pretty up after that. But the idea is that the only thing that is able to destroy the Omni Droid is itself. That's the only thing. And Mr. Incredible kind of figures this out, and then he kind of has this plan where the Omni Droid is just gonna punch itself and beat itself out, and then it's going to, and then he like whistles, and then the Omni Droid goes inside and pulls its own brain out. So I guess this kind of makes me think about us right now, the life that we have. Chances are, if you're watching this, you have ADHD. And if you're watching the replay, chances are you have ADHD and you've probably had some struggles with it. I would recommend and encourage you that no matter how difficult things get, no matter how painful the journey becomes, like as the stresses mount, anybody can be like happy and joyful and like dancing all around and like everything's great. Anybody can do that when there is not really any stress in your and doesn't seem to be anything going on. The question is, are you able to do that when the real heat is turned on, right? That's the real question. So I'd encourage you to not take your own brain out, to not do things that you know would be diabolical. Great word. That's the kind of word that like Dr. Eggman, Bowser, any of those evil people would use. They have some diabolical plan to take away something that you want. For Mario, the Princess Peach, Sonic, it's the Chaos Emeralds, etc., etc. And if not to steal them, then to at least make them harder to reach. And life is difficult enough without messing up our brains and making them more and more and more less able to respond and do what they need to do. So I've talked about this a number of times. I've struggled a little bit with viewing pornography. I stayed away from it pretty well after my mission. First time I ran into it, I was 14, got out of it, thankfully. I didn't even know I had the ADHD. It's just, you look back and there's nothing but passion. What else can you feel? It's like, what in the world if I had known I had this and that this would be so destructive and I'd still remember stuff that I saw when I was 14. Like, yeah, it's just really humbling. I think a lot of these things are really just accepted way too much and it's only becoming more so. And just normal chastity and like just living a decent, virtuous, moral life is just becoming less and less commonplace, and it's pretty sad. It really is. Um, but yeah, I don't lie to you. I've had some urges to go back to that today because my life today has not been super purple. It just hasn't. I ate some good breakfast, but then I kind of got into that beautiful trail, the beautiful trail of the physical media and all that, and making the Amazon list and stuff. And that's great stuff. That'd be fantastic stuff to do in my off time. And I'm doing this as a gift of love for myself. And hopefully this might reach and help a couple people. But just remind myself, hey, I see you and your potential is limitless and we can't afford to do this anymore. Like me smiling is such a big deal because like 2 or 3 years ago, my life really felt like it was in shambles, and now it's like way better. I've moved out of my parents' house. My parents are amazing. I just needed to get out of just all those memories. Like there's so many memories in that house in North Carolina that like were really good. And then there's also some that were not so good. And I just like everywhere I look, there's a memory. And it was like basically like so painful at times, you know? But here where I am right now, like all the memories here have been made since November. My sleep schedule is not the greatest, and that's okay. I'm blessed to have a job right now. I didn't work today. That would have been smart too. I'm doing cold calls for my friend's startup, and today I just decided to follow what was more interesting. So the key is to obviously get things figured out. So the thing that you want to do is also like you have things set up. I'm not allowing myself to play any video games unless I work at least 4 hours for my friend's startup. So, so obviously that didn't happen today. Yeah. So that's kind of some of the stuff that's going on right now. And end of the day, we just build from this moment and we keep going. It's humbling because I remember when I was back in college and I just got in this internship that was really awesome and good. And I just was feeling just kind of lonely and all over the place. And I found out that there was going to be this company thing and they were going to watch this movie. And I was planning on going to it. And then, very more thing, I ended up getting caught up in some dopamine trail. And believe it or not, that led to viewing some pornography, which of course threw my brain in a big loop. And I remembered that it started raining shortly after I took myself out of the situation, and I felt completely horrible. This is back in 2021. Also, photographic memory, which makes this a little more complicated, but it is what it is. I've learned that I can use that for good, and that's what I'm working on. And I think being able to watch a lot of those old movies from when I was a kid, that will surely that'll be fun. That'll be nice. That'll be good to do. I remember it raining and going into the rain and praying, and just the rain was beating on me, and just falling on my knees in the middle of the street and just being like, I felt so horrible about it. And yeah, that was in August 2021. And then wouldn't you know it, like, and I wasn't planning on falling into it ever again after that point, because it was pretty like not not very often at all back then. It really wasn't. I was clean from it for a couple of years after my mission, so that was beautiful. But yeah, then I ended up falling back into it in December when I was visiting home before going back out to school. I don't know if it was just, I think a lot of it is how with ADHD you don't necessarily feel things sometimes, and don't have like a interest in life sometimes. And that's why at first some people thought I had depression, but yeah, I think I had some depression symptoms, but I really think it's just ADHD. Like, you have momentum going, or else your brain is going to be like, what's going on? I don't get it. Like, when I wake up for a new day, like, I need to have a pretty clear plan of what I'm going to do. Otherwise, it just feels like I'm starting from zero. But that was a humbling day, though, because I remember, like, having the thought from the Holy Ghost before I fell back that day in December, like, you know, like, if you play with fire, you are always going to get burned. And I was like, I know that's about that, but I'm like, I'm not going to fall into that tonight. I'm fine. I'm here at home, blah, blah, blah. And then I think I was stressed out about this internship, that same internship, it was ending, and it wasn't going to continue. And I think I was feeling stressed out about that. I ended up going on a walk and just needed to talk to somebody. And I called up this one friend that I thought would pick up, and they didn't pick up. And so I just felt worse. And I think this was a time where I wasn't as open with God about my feelings, and just telling him every single thing I could tell him, like, just pouring out my heart and soul. Like, you can literally tell God anything. So just literally pouring out your complete heart to him. So that's, yeah, it's something I learned to do. But yeah, wouldn't you know, like, shortly after that, I ended up falling back in. Yeah. And it's a humbling thing, because with brain, like pornography, viewing pornography literally like decreases your brain's gray matter. It decreases your cognitive functions, ability to sense like rewards, like stuff that kept us alive back in the day. Like, that's pretty big deal. And you look at like how ADHD could be really helpful back in those days, like the ability to just lock in battle mode, whatever. It's really amazing. I really think if I'm born like 1,000 years earlier, I would have been like this crazy like Jama warrior guy. And yeah, so because I feel like ADHD is like that warrior instinct. It's talked about it in the book Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and it's wild because I felt so connected to that book when I first read it in fourth grade. And it's so crazy because that book, literally, the guy has ADHD, but I didn't know I had ADHD in fourth grade. I didn't know that. So God was like, just, oh, it blows me away. So that's what God's so doing, which is so beautiful, is I have all these different things in my life. I could spend like I could spend days like dissecting all these different webs. Like, I met this person, which led to meeting this person. All these different things that have happened. Like, yeah, it's amazing. Rocket Light said, today is day 12. My focus has been substantially better. That's amazing, man. I'm proud of you. That is so good. That is so good. Yeah, it's what we need to do. It's humbling because yesterday I felt very strongly to go to an addiction recovery class that the church puts on. And I didn't feel like super, like I would never ever put, I would never ever ever say I've ever had an addiction to pornography. If anything, I'd ever give it is an unhealthy attachment, just because of, yeah, times I've run into it and it just getting stuck in the brain. But in 2024, I fell into it more than I ever have in my life. I fell into it like 11 or so times, which is like really bad. And it was devastating to say the least. Like, it's like, what in the world's going on? Uh, it's wild. I mean, I've fallen into it like 3 or 4 different times since I moved into this apartment. And a lot of it is because of new stresses and whatever, and just me wanting things to happen quicker or whatever, or frustrated about this or that. And yeah, I'm glad I went to that addiction recovery class, because I was able to see a lot of people who are just getting started. It was like their day one. It was like they're just like getting back into it. And there's like 30 guys there. And then there was some older guys there. That was, if there's anything that made me go, holy heck, it was like, see these like dudes that are like 20, 30 years older than me that have still struggled with this, and it's like ruined their marriages and stuff like that. I was like, oh shoot, dude. Like I said, I was 14 when I first fell into it, and I'm 28. It's like, it's crazy. If you told me when I was 14, like, hey, you will run into this again, and you will still be trying to do this and completely kick it when you're 14 years older, I would have thought you were completely nuts. Because when I was 14, like, I ran into it and I just like completely stepped away from it. But it's not just enough to say no. Like, you have to know what you're saying yes to. And again, going back to where we started, it's saying yes to living life by design, just being thankful that you have been good with this. I realize that for some people with ADHD, like, really can be debilitating, especially if you're the only one in your family. For me, it's really helped me to, like, I can memorize scriptures really easily. I can memorize songs really easily. And there's an insane amount of potential that's possible with it. Both my parents don't have ADHD, and I have it. So with me having, there's a very good chance that at least one of my kids will have it. So it's like we gotta learn to cherish this as much as possible, because one day I won't be on this earth anymore, and people will watch, maybe will come back to videos like this, like grandchildren or something will watch a video like this over again and be like, and they will have all of the understanding and all the stuff that I do not have right now. They will have all these different memories with me. They'll have all these different things, and they'll make the judgment call at that point. It's like, oh, how did he do from this point before he met, their grandma? How did he do from this point? Did he like stay away from it? Did he really keep doing that? Or the story much different? Right? That's the chilling horror story kind of stuff, because as of right now, I truthfully, like, I've never fallen into pornography 2 days in a row. There's always been a very generous gap, it looks like there's no real problem, and most people would be like, oh, whatever, you just use it to, no, like, there's been times where it's it's tough to avoid, but again, it's like so spread out. But, if I was to start, just, if I let myself fall into it again, like before the end of this month, and then I fell into it again, then maybe the story I was telling myself would start to change. Like, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. How could you do this to yourself? And then maybe it could become something worse. And it's already gotten worse than I would have ever thought, like running into it that many times in 2024. Is crazy. And it's not just videos either. It could be It could be something, it could be like literally like an Amazon review. It could be a blurb about a book. It could be really anything. Anything that, yeah. So it's humbling, man. It really is. So it makes me think about how if you're going to give somebody some immense superpower, there has to be some kind of kryptonite or something that is in direct opposition to every good thing that that superpower can produce. So, for me, my brain, when I've recently fallen into pornography, it's happened enough times that I've like documented it to better understand so I can help out myself. Like, I don't think as clearly, I don't remember stuff as well. I like sometimes like I'll just have random movie scenes play in my head when, like when I'm farther along from in sobriety. And it's beautiful. I just like have all these different beautiful things come into my brain, all these other movie quotes. I'll just like randomly say a movie quote when I'm like talking to somebody or something like that. That's what happens when I'm just normally me. The struggle is when you have spent time with pornography enough time that it feels less normal to be without it, and that's obviously where the attachment comes into place. I think there's a couple different parts. There's probably, maybe there's 4 levels. I don't know. It depends how you want to put it. But at least right now, I'll put it at there's interest, there's unhealthy attachment, and then there's addiction. So, you know, interest is like you're just kiss, you watch something or whatever, and then you yeah, you're just like, okay, well that was dumb. And then maybe yeah, whatever. And then the unhealthy attachment is like you have these different things, you felt a certain way, and then you feel like it's harder to let go. You have less remembrance of times where you were doing really well because you're getting older, blah blah blah. And then the addiction is where it's like day by day, moment by moment, it's like beyond crazy. You don't know how to avoid it and stuff. So there's a number of different things I've done this time since my last relapse to like help with making things better so it doesn't happen again. One of the biggest ones is the new bedtime. Well, bedtime for my phone and like all screens at 10 p.m., which I've done this before, and yet, we're here in this little live stream. So the thing that I'm doing differently this time is I said that I am not allowed to use any screens or anything after 10 p.m. unless I am with friends, like playing a video game, watching a movie, etc., or with my significant other, watching a movie or whatever. Like those are the two different exceptions. I think having exceptions is super, super, super powerful because you're acknowledging the need, but you're also being like strict enough that that there needs to be the whatchamacallit. It needs to be clear. It needs to be clear. Like there has to be that discipline, right? So that's a lot of what I've been building more into my days. And I really feel that God is building me up into this person that is going to like need to help a lot of people. And it's crazy too. This is where it gets crazy too, because it's like if you're not there for that person and God like puts you in that person's life to help them and you don't help them or you drop the ball or something, the person can just disappear. They can poof right out of your life. So it's really interesting because I've had times where I've kind of dropped the ball in different ways. Maybe I wasn't there for that person or whatever, and then like they just get plopped right out of my life because I didn't take them for granted, and I can't afford to do that. Monday night, I got to go to this trampoline park place, and no, I don't have a girlfriend. No, I have not been in a relationship for, yeah, almost 3 years. So, it's been some time. And yeah, so I was at this trampoline park place and I just got to bounce around, jump around. It was a great time. And I felt so much love. I felt so present. I was just jumping around all these trampoline parks, places. There was this slide that I went down and like had this nice jump. So when like, woof, and then I like landed in the little block things that they had. And I made a video. I was going to make a short of it. And then they also had this basketball court that was super bouncy. So I like did dunk. It would have been fun to do more dunks, but it was like a great time. It's just like, there's no limits on God's plan. And I really know that right now that God is like elevating me and helping me to hear myself, say things I need to say, hopefully uplift a couple people along the way as I'm figuring stuff, and just make space for myself so my inner child can be healed, so it can be seen, heard, and appreciated and cherished and everything like that. So I ended up getting a text from a friend who's a girl, but I'm not in a relationship with her. I don't like, I have a number of friends that are girls that I just like talk to on the phone, and they're great supports for me. And I don't know, God just kind of put them in my life. Like literally, basically all of them, I followed like one prompting that led to me talking to them. And it was like that perfect day they needed somebody to talk to. And there I was, you know? So anyway, I got a text from this one friend. She was having a bit of a rough time. And yeah, I just was eating I jumped around and stuff. And the group that I went with, they were playing basketball. And I was going to go out there, but I just decided to just kind of intentionally like get out my scriptures, do some scripture reading, write some poetry because I write poetry. And then I was just chilling. I was eating some pizza, much pizza, probably like 6 or 7 pieces of pizza. I was just like vibing and enjoying the moment. And I guess another quick aside is I felt the pressure to perform, to have like good like grades and stuff. And a lot of it is self-inflicted. Especially like, I think just it's become crazier with just young adulthood, like with like needing to have a job or whatever. And I have a job. But I've had people be like, why aren't you married? And you're such a catch or whatever. It's like, I know I'm a catch. I know. I'm not going to force anything. And I know that I'm like, there's such a bigger picture here. Like what I was talking about earlier with the grandkids. Like, who knows, dude? I could have like 30, 40 grandkids. Like, that's crazy to think about, like, in the future. And I might even get to meet like almost all 40. Like, that's joy, dude. Like, that's crazy joy. That's like, but the thing about ADHD, though, is sometimes you struggle with seeing that stuff in the moment. And so that's why a lot of these relapses have happened for me, is because I'm unable to detach myself from the moment and remember there's a bigger picture. Or the other way around, I'm unable to detach myself from the pain I'm feeling in that moment or the fear I'm feeling in that moment and just focus on the moment. Be here, just feel all the things. And that's probably one of the biggest things that will ensure I don't fall into it ever again, is just to feel all the feelings and just be like, you know what? Just feel the feelings, no matter how wonderful it is, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how whatever it is, no matter how just insulted I feel or whatever, just to feel the feeling and not worry about it, because there's really nothing to worry about. Christ literally did suffer an infinite atonement, and we change and become better, turn to him. We can better understand why we're made the way that we're made. He can heal us and take care of us. It just takes time. I've had times where I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. And I fell back into pornography again in some way. There's a lot of avenues, of course. And then I feel like the worst person ever, right? And then I don't see as clearly as I did, and I'm frustrated. And yet here I am. At the end of the day, God wants us to keep trying and keep going and keep learning, and he will help us to keep getting back up. I mean, he's looking at our hearts, not where we're at right now. It says in 1 Samuel 16:7, man, on the outward appearance, Lord looketh on the heart. So there you go. Anyway, yeah, so I was eating some pizza, chilling, reading some scriptures, and then I just had the thought to call this friend, and we talked, and it was great. So it was just a real gift to talk to that friend, and I know that God is really healing me and taking care of me and helping me out. And we don't really know what he's doing right now in the moment. When you look back, things are more clear usually. You look back and like, oh, that's why, this or this or this happened. And sometimes we obviously don't know. So yeah, that's some of it right now. When I was in college and I tried to be quote unquote normal and not consider my ADHD, like example, uh, like working on stuff at home, like working on homework at home and just kind of sticking around my apartment and not really super leaving my apartment. I got serious cabin fever and I needed to get out of there. I need to like keep moving around. That really helps, like my brain keep rolling, and it's nice. Feels good to do that. And it's a process. Like a couple years from now, I'll probably have a lot more systems, a lot more different things that help me to like thrive with ADHD. Cold showers help an immense amount. That's a very natural way to get dopamine. So sometimes I'll just like just jump in a cold shower because yeah, those are super amazing. I've been making those since 2018, and your body's like starting to crave cold showers or a run or whatever. That's when you really know that you are super like you rewind your brain for real for real. Yeah, yeah. It really is humbling too. I think one thing that really helped me to make a big step in this endeavor was back in March 2023. I just decided, okay, I'm done with this forever. And instead of saying I'm just done with it, I said I'm on the road to endless virtue. I'm going to just do everything I can to stay on that, keep learning, keep growing, and then ended up staying away from pornography. It was almost a year. It's like 8 or 9 months. So yeah, that was a beautiful time. But I just kind of have to remember it's like even if that feels like a big deal now, just that number of me staying away from it is uh, not anywhere close to that right now. I know that I will get there one day at a time and that God is helping me out the entire way. And when like I do get to those places that I need to get to, like he's helping me to keep moving forward and he's never bringing up any of those mistakes and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I mean, it's humbling to be in, yeah, a year's a long time. It was almost a year. I think it was March to November or December I was doing great. I think a lot of it was I made this like program that I followed and I had to like write in it every day. So I did that the first 40 days and then I did just pretty good after that. I mean, I went to the beach with family, just did a lot of different things and yeah, I mean, I have some writings in my journal I could check up to. I should do that. That would be good. I definitely would be wise to read some of those things just to kind of get a glimpse of what was going back then, because there's things that helped. Yeah. So it was a good time. It was a good time. So it's definitely possible. And then when I was on my mission, I mean, I just stayed far away from it. I didn't touch it at all on my mission. Clean as can be. I mean, from like after like probably like 15 to my mission, and then all the way to like 3 years after my mission, I was like really completely clean, which is a beautiful thing. So there was one time that on my mission where to go email and we email every week, and I got to the library and so like email home once a week. Back in the day, you could only talk to your family twice a year and email every week. And I got on that computer to email. For some reason, there was a folder already open, and I couldn't really see anything, but just like I just knew that there was going to be pornography in it, and I was just like, I don't know how in the flipping heck this happened. Who the dingus is doing this in a flipping like library? And I felt the instant shame, even though I hadn't even clicked on, I hadn't done anything. I just literally showed up at the computer and this was here. And I was like, oh no, what if somebody sees or whatever? And then I just was like, all right, X, delete, goodbye, and it was gone. Um, I remember that as like God is aware of every time we've said no to something that might be tempting, and we just kind of have to be thankful for that. So there's times that I felt prompted to say no to different instances from girls. I don't know really why. Well, with one of them, I felt very strongly that she was going to get married soon. She wasn't dating anybody, and then she ended up finding a guy by the end of that semester, and 6 months later married. So there's that example. But yeah, end of the day, God knows exactly who you are. He knows exactly what you need, and He wants your joy. He doesn't want you to like just fall into something, just follow your emotions, and just yeah, and then just have this big wake up call. You don't actually care about the person. You were just physically attracted to them. He doesn't want that. He intends for marriage to last much longer than that. So, yeah, I mean, this is kind of where it is, where we stand in this moment. And as long as I just keep standing with Christ, then things will get exponentially better. And I'm just humbled by the experiences I've had, and I really want to help out my future, especially my future sons, man. I'll probably have one son that has ADHD. It's funny because I don't know how real this is. I just kind of imagine it. I'll have one son that's kind of more sporty and is like super, super good at sports. And then I'll have one that's kind of more into video games like I am. So sort of my personalities or my interests like split up in between two dudes. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Like if one of them like did really well at basketball and the other one like, yeah. I just want to celebrate my kids, even if they're like want to play soccer or whatever. If one of my sons wants to dance or whatever, it's like, yeah, dude, like just do your thing, man. My parents gave me the gift of exploring my curiosities. Like every parent would let their 15-year-old start a gaming YouTube channel, but that they did at 15 with some friends. I did a gaming YouTube channel, and that of course also helped with ADHD and living by design thing. And again, I didn't know I had ADHD back then, but having that consistency of building a schedule, coming up with a plan. I mean, there was something that really just like took over for real back then for me. Just I remember writing down like all the characters we'd played as and all the stuff, just, like making it as like, yeah, just making it memorable, and it's just a gift. Kelsey, I hope you're well. Thank you for the heart. Yeah, ADHD is interesting. I really think we're going to get more research as time goes on, and we'll get a greater understanding of this, so that will be awesome. I think just general rule of thumb with life is to just cherish the understanding that you have until more understanding comes. I've had times where I read a scripture and it's like great, but then like 2 years later, I'm going through something difficult. I read that same scripture with what I'm going through in that moment, and it like literally like just helps on such a deep level. So this is why I must 100% spend more time with the Lord, because there's a lot of things He wants to teach me right now in this vulnerable time. This time of me bouncing back and just distancing myself as far away from pornography as possible and everything like that. And Chris new thing, like there's a lot of opportunities to grow and to change. And the Lord is very aware that I'm hurting and that I am, I just need need to be more focused, need to be more intentional, and just let these things grow. Things you need to let grow, and there's things you need to let go. See, there we go. We just did it. We just did it. That's beautiful. That's what it comes down to. There's the things that we need to let grow. We need to let our focus grow. We need to let our good habits grow. If you're building a YouTube channel or something, you need to let that grow. Designing things, designing plans, ideas, whatever. Like I'm getting a GoPro tomorrow probably to, well, not probably, I'm pretty sure I'm getting it tomorrow. Yeah, sometimes people on Facebook Marketplace can be a little bit wishy-washy. I think I told him that I would. Oh, I don't think we need it down. Yeah. But I'm getting a GoPro before the end of the week. And then I'll be able to use that for runs, be able to make my videos a little more interesting and make more collages, and I'll probably do some voiceovers, and who knows, maybe I'll share poetry with some of my runs, and that'll be a lot of fun. But it's just gonna take time. And so I just have to let all these things grow. Just have to let the love grow, let the peace grow, let the laughs grow, let the good times grow, let everything that is good, just let that grow, and just let it overcome the garden, right? And there's that concept about if you chase a butterfly, it's gonna leave. But if you create a garden, then the butterflies will come. So my garden is pretty good, but there's some things that need to be pruned out and taken out and healed. So I believe that once I've taken care of all that stuff, then maybe I will meet somebody that will complement my joy and happiness, and I'll be able to add to her joy and happiness. That will be swell. And then yeah, that would be super great. Oh, it's good. This quament is definitely not a word. Quament. I don't think that's a word. Okay. It helped me a lot with ADHD to let the Lord decide what I'm supposed to be doing in a season. The season length, it's kind of random, but I know He's with me through all of it. Yep. Let the Lord decide what I'm in. Yep. It's so real how the season length is. It's like, that's so real talk, because when I was back in, I was like, all right, I need to get out of here. And I just felt like it was going to be really soon that I'd be moving, but nothing was really changing. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of things happened in a month, and I was gone by the end of that, not that month, but the end of the beginning of that next month. So there's this quote from Alex Hormozy, actually, it says it will take longer than you think, but it'll happen faster than you think, or something. It'll happen faster than you think, but it'll take longer than you think, but it'll happen faster than you can imagine. Oh, something like that. But yeah, the idea of what to do in the season. For me right now in this season, I know 100% it's just building and taking care of myself and building up my books, getting those in paperback, getting my newsletter out to more people. There's the link in the description if you want to check that out, and just getting things into a better flow so I can compliment somebody. I'm definitely not in a position to be in a relationship. I'm not making enough money to really invest in that. I think I need to build up myself more physically and everything else. I think I've made a lot of progress, but this is not the season of that. And the Lord is very clear. I've had some girls coming up and talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes you don't know if it's a hint, but it's like, this has to be a hint. This has to be, because like they keep like talking to you even though you like stop talking to them, or they just come by, like stand next to you for like several moments and then walk away. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but like this is probably a hint. I don't know, but God knows what's gone, and He's able to take people out of our life like that, and He's certainly done that. So I think it's like wanting to be delivered before it's my time from this. And I also thought when I moved out here to Utah, things would magically come together, which is not really happened. But there's been a lot of beautiful things that have happened. But I like that thought, Kelly. That's really great. I appreciate you sharing, because the random season length is so flipping real. It's so real. But He's with you through all of it. He is. I mean, last night was kind of long. And then I just kind of laid down in my bed and I asked my Alexa to play this song or play music from Insane the Music. He does jazz covers, a lot of video game stuff. And the song that came on was one that I'd heard before, but some reason I just felt like comforted. I felt like covered, like by a blanket of God's love, just like I'm proud of you and good job today. So how God sees the growth we're making is way, way, way more important. And when you focus on that, I think what helped me to get so sorry. I think that's what helped me get so high in the numbers before walking the light. Is just you just focus on it and you just get so focused on it and just growing and stuff. And just like knowing I'd stayed pretty well away from it before. So, but every day is a new day. I think that's another important thing, like with seasons, and I'm guilty of this, is you compare how you're doing in this season to how you did in like a season like 3 or 4 years ago. When everything was different, there were certain people that weren't in the picture, and it's just a completely different thing. So it's really funny because I was actually reading some of my journal entries from last year, like at this time, and there's some cool stuff in there, and it really humbled me. But one of them said, like, if I need to talk to somebody about these things that I'm experiencing, two really awesome friends that are girls that I can talk to, and I mentioned them, and like, yeah, it's like those are both friends that I still keep in touch with. But there was also like 3 or 4 more girls that I like became good friends with in 2024 that I also like still call. So the blessings are getting better, joys are getting sweeter. We just have to let these things all grow, no matter what. Just let them keep growing. And sometimes that literally means I'm just gonna go to bed, not worry about it, let God take care of it, and that's it. So, yeah, and yeah, it's interesting because me making this was in a way, I wouldn't say a call for help, but it was certainly like me being able to hear myself. Because today I live with an older couple. I talked with the older lady for maybe like 5 or 6 minutes. That's not very much social interaction. I also talked briefly with a couple people that I walked by, but it's like that's not very much. I'm used to way more human interaction than that. So this is the human interaction I'm getting for the day, most of it. So there you go. It's just a humbling thing. It's just the temporary basement scene living here is just super, 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 super temporary. Because when I was living with my family after uh, needing to move back home because I ran out of money and stuff, it was like 20 months of living there, which seems like forever. And there's times it did feel like forever, but now it feels like it's gone, you know? Crazy. So there's definitely a lot of memories there, of a lot of pictures, good times, but it's gone. We have the things that we have to let go of. There's the past struggle, there's the past failure, there is the past relapses, there is the janky whatever stuff, stories that other people have put on you from middle school or school or whatever, like not worth at all, you know? Like some people, they're not meant to come back into your, and that's a good thing. We don't want that. So there's that. There's just any of these feelings, these just like not good enough shame feelings. It's not so much being upset because of them, but you're letting them go. You're letting them go and you're letting them just part of everything else. Just be part of the past and let it live in the past. So yeah, letting go, and like you don't need to reopen old wounds. There's really no need to do that. Like you can just wait on the Lord. It says it in there's a verse in Proverbs that says, "He will strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord." There's another one in Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run where they shall walk and not faint. Then there's another. Oh my goodness. My right foot is like stupid asleep. It's like we're not going anywhere today, boy. Yeah. And a lot of it just comes down to just cherishing the here and now. I also got this, so this is fun. Yeah. So keep loving, keep trying, keep trusting, keep believing, keep growing, keep heaven is cheering you on today, tomorrow, and forever. That's from Jeffrey R. Holland. So I got this pretty recently. So this is look at that. It's good stuff. Yeah. There's just so many blessings, and God doesn't ever stop with the blessings. It's just sometimes the blessings he sends are ones I'm kind of like, oh, okay. It's like a good blessing, but it's just not necessarily what I was wanting. But he does answer prayers, and I have been praying a lot. And that's how a lot of these wonderful friends that are growing come into my life, is I've prayed to meet or to have acquaintance with somebody that could become like a longer term partner, wife or something. And he's given me a lot of really awesome friends that, yeah, are good friends. So there we go. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. Wow. Wow, that is a bar. Psalm 34:5. That's good. That's perfect. Yeah, it's like Matthew 6:22 about looking to the Lord, and it's like, let your eyes be single. If your eye be single to the glory of God, your whole body shall be full of light. But I also especially like that, their faces are never covered with shame. That is, especially the word covered. Yeah, that's humbling, because atonement apparently comes from some word in Greek maybe, or Roman, I don't know. But it basically comes from the word to cover, right? And the atonement covers you, takes care of you, is there for you. It's not the atonement itself. The atonement doesn't have any power in and of itself. It's Christ who suffered and now is able to cover you. It says it in Isaiah 1:18, come down, let us reason together. Save the Lord, though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. The red like crimson, they shall be as wool. So yeah, that's good. I think one time where I come up a little bit, or I feel inferior, is when I feel like God is asking me to do something, like go talk to somebody or something. This happened yesterday. On the way to that addiction recovery group thing, there was this guy who was shoveling snow. And I don't know why in the world he's shoveling snow. It was like 21 degrees outside. He's inside this tennis court shoveling snow. And I said hi. No, I said like, hi, dude, you're doing amazing. Like, you're awesome or something. I just felt the vibes. And he's like, dude, thanks so much. And I just felt like I needed to go talk to him more. Like, I just felt that way I usually feel when I need to go talk to somebody more. And I immediately was like, no, I need to run. I need to get to this addiction recovery thing because I'm going to be late. So I ended up leaving that dude, and I did what basically anybody else would do, was I just decided to focus on me and not really care so much about him. And I ended up getting to the group, and I got there like 10 minutes late, which is a big deal because I ran, and it's like a couple miles away, like most people probably would drive. But yeah, it made me think I'm gonna keep thinking about that guy. That's how my brain works. Like when I miss something like that, my brain does not forget. And I thankfully was able to detach and not cast so much hurt on myself, because I know it was super cold outside. I've had times where I followed a prompting, go talk to somebody, and they say, please don't talk to me or whatever. And so I didn't fear of rejection, a lot of these different things. But the thing was, I was putting a story in that guy's mind and face, and I had no idea what he was going through. What I did feel, I just felt like he was in pain, and I didn't go and talk to him. So Mosiah 7:33 is a banger. That's the one that just says, like, if you will turn to the Lord, then he will in his own good will and pleasure deliver you from bondage. I think that's what that one says. Yeah, pretty sure we've gone over to, oh no, oh yes, we have gone over, Mark. I was pretty sure we had. It says 66. So, yeah. End of the day, we keep going. Like it's humbling because I didn't get any work done today, and I did make a really immaculate list of DVDs and stuff that I could buy in the future. It's amazing. I celebrate my brain and being able to come up with an idea and like completely shift gears and like come up with this whole vision and thing. And I think the real gift of what I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna try to create like a phase structure. Like here's phase one. Phase one is getting a new computer, which I'm doing very soon, and then get a big TV so I can work on stuff as an HDMI port. That's like phase one. Phase two is probably getting like a PS3 or PS4 or something that can play Blu-rays, and then, being able to like watch some movies. And then I won't have to worry about like ads or whatever else, and I can just chill out. I do kind of miss that vibe. I think it's interesting because like streaming eliminated the need to like put the disc and everything like that and like click play. But now it's sort of like I kind of miss that. One of the biggest things that helps me out with this is like just I kind of miss like being able to like watch the whole credit, you know? Kind of miss watching the whole credit scene because now with like streaming services, it's like, oh, you watched that. Well, we're just gonna have the next one play just like that. Like you watched like Incredibles 1. Okay, we're gonna put on Incredibles 2. Like you're a robot. It's like, no, thank you very much. I'm not a robot. Thank you. It's also kind of crazy how profitable streaming services are because a lot of people like they buy one, but then they don't actually like use it as much as they plan on using it, or they sign up for a free trial. Oh man, nice yawn. And then they'd cancel it. So just like bling 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 bling. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and time is precious. There's only 24 hours in a day. I can definitely design that time to make sure that I'm just focused on things that bring me closer to God, help me to become better, help me to change, help me to let go of these limiting beliefs and stuff. And yeah, so it's a process. It's a learning journey. That's kind of what this is. Yeah. It's good stuff though. It's good stuff. So it's humbling though when you have this like grand vision of what you wanted to do, but then you let some distractions get in the way. I likened it actually to person that is on the track, right, to where they want to go. But then a rattlesnake comes up in their path to slow them down. And you can acknowledge the rattlesnake and just keep going. But you don't even have to acknowledge it, or you just keep going, whatever. You can get literally like you can get bit. Or you can get like I think it was like it could like slow you down, like it gets in your path, or you can get, and if you get like bit by a snake, like that thing is actually gonna slow you down like big time, especially if it's like a poisonous snake. And yeah, it's like I don't know why I'm yawning so much all of a sudden. Have I been going to the temple? So that's a kind of tough one. With me being on foot, I haven't gone to the temple in a week. I think I went last Thursday, maybe. So I'm usually like, I'll go with a friend or something like that. Yeah, I was hoping to go. I was thinking of maybe going today, just didn't do it though. Just getting attacked. Just getting attacked by all the yawns. Yeah, so I need to though. I do need to by the end of the week. That would be way good. Yeah. To go today, I would have had to like walk, and that would have been quite a walk. Going has helped me a ton. That's good. That's good, man. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely helps a lot. There you get, especially lately, I've been getting a lot of good revelation. It's like 3 yawns in like a minute and a half. It's crazy. I think we need to close up. Oh yeah, and look, it's 9:54, which means that in 5 minutes I'm turning off all my devices, no more screens, unless my significant other, which there obviously is nothing of the sort, and I'm not with any friends right now. So yeah, we're going to bed. So um, probably do some journaling and some other stuff. Maybe I'll come up with like that phase structure I was talking about. So I have something to work towards, right? It'll be good. It'll be good. So it was fun. Thank you, Kelsey, for your thoughts. Walking the light, good to see you. Maddie, thanks for the subscription. Bio, thanks for saying hi from Russia. That was cool. Yeah. Hopefully this gave some help or support or something. This was definitely good for me to get out. When I get to 45 days, I want to do a live stream with you. Yeah, dude, that'd be super fun. I am super down. I will be super down. We'll be able to have a lot of good things to talk about for sure. My brain will definitely be feeling more focused at that point and more clear minded, and I'll have by then I should have the new I'll definitely have the new laptop. You'll reveal your face then. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, how many subscribers you have by then? You'll probably be picking that up because you've been doing a good job following the 1% rule with your thumbnails. They've just been getting better. So I really feel like you'll have one of these that just blows up. So get like 50,000 views or something. So, and then you're just like at this crazy level. I've seen it happen to a number of friends before. Like the friend does the fitness channel, and then I had a friend with Smash Bros videos that happened to just kind of just kept making those 1% improvements, and I had one just blow up. So I need to improve my thumbnail game for sure, but just having fun. That's it, dude. Just having fun. We're just enjoying our time here before we get to go home. That's it. Just enjoying the time here. Trying to learn to experience more joy in our circumstances, get to know Christ better, love Him more, and give ourselves grace for everything that doesn't go well and stuff. So proud of you, man. Like that's huge. You're making some good progress, and definitely we'll be keeping an eye on your journey and praying. And yeah, dude, the best is ahead. So just kind of have to keep going, and it'll be good. So yeah, Lord is definitely aware of what we're all going through. How we're all being tempted. Just count the days, because I'm a science guy. Measure things. That's good. Yeah. I mean, it is like a pretty decent metric because you do see like changes happen like in between. I mean, it's just kind of like any experiments. Like day 1, the plant is doing nothing. Day 52 of sunlight and water, the plant is like alive, you know? So yeah, it's kind of a similar thing. So, well, that was fun. I need to go now. But I appreciate you. And I know that Jesus is the Christ, that He's aware of what we're going through. And as we look to Him, we'll find new life, new light, new joy, new peace. And that He's able to bring new perspectives that would blow us away, and that He sees us as we really are and as we really will be. And as we keep looking to Him, we'll always find abundant peace, hope, and satisfaction for our souls. And He'll take care of us, and as we look to Him, He will bring us to the Father and bring us to where we need to go. So that's my testimony, and know the Book of Mormon is great witness of Jesus as well. Has helped me a great deal. Bible and all that good stuff too. There's so much light out there. When we make more time for the Savior's light, then our lives also become full of His light. So that's what I'll leave with you. I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. It's probably better to keep track of days per week rather than streaks, or both. Gotcha. Yeah. Amen, man. Thanks for your testimony. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. I got to go. Almost at 10 o'clock. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye.